Today's recipe is Vietnamese pork, but don't fret if you don't eat pork. This works with beef, chicken, or turkey. It will turn out just as good. This is one of my favorite things to eat for dinner personally. It comes together really quickly and it's so good. Hi, I'm Carla from Cooking for Kales and welcome back to my channel. Or if this is your first time here, it's really nice to meet you. If you're interested in easy, simple, but delicious recipes that won't break the bank, then subscribe and click that notification bell below so that you'll be notified the next time I upload another video. I also share recipes from my favorite food bloggers, like this Vietnamese pork recipe that I'm going to make tonight. It comes from a blog called Recipe Tinnies. Now, I know that's a strange name for a blog. She's based in Australia, but I have to say she has some really interesting Asian-inspired recipes on her blog. I highly recommend that you check her out. I will leave a link to her blog in the description box below. Okay, let's get cooking. So the ingredients for this particular recipe are very simple. You need some pork mince, 500 grams or 1 pound. But as I said, you can also use other mince if you do not eat pork or you don't have any pork. You can use beef, you can use turkey or chicken. They will work out just fine. In fact, my best friend May made it the other day with beef and she reported back to me that it was just as delicious. You'll need 1 onion, some fresh ginger, 2 cloves of garlic, 5 tablespoons of brown sugar. The recipe calls for fresh chilies and I don't have fresh chilies, so I'm using my substitute here, which is crushed red pepper. And this is a great substitute if a recipe calls for chilies and you don't have it. I always have this on hand. And fish sauce. So this particular ingredient, there's no substitute for it and it smells really bad out of the bottle, but it absolutely works in Asian dishes. It's essential in some Asian dishes. The thing that I would suggest though is to only use what the recipe calls for. Don't overdose on this. It's quite a potent ingredient and it could overpower the dish. So this recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. I'm gonna stick with that. Okay, so I've peeled my onions, my garlic, and my ginger, and I'm now just gonna chop them up really quickly. I have to say that this process of chopping up the vegetables, for me, is one of the joys that I have of preparing dinner. I just find it so relaxing. Easy to do, and I don't even mind if the onion makes my eyes tear up. That's all a part of the experience. So that's the onion. I'm going to quickly mince this garlic. Chop it up a bit. You can still got a few large chunks. We love garlic in this house, so that's okay. If you didn't like garlic, perhaps you can use like a garlic powder. But to me, it's the actual raw veg that works with this. That's the garlic, put to the side. And now the ginger root. Now I usually keep my ginger root in the deep freeze. It just makes it easier to slice and dice when I need it. You could also grate this with a microplane. I don't mind and actually kind of like to have little chunks of ginger in the mix as well. You could probably use ground ginger in this, but again, it wouldn't be as potent. So if you can get fresh ginger, I recommend you go with that. And that's all ready to go. And now we will put all of this in the pot and get it cooking. Okay, so we're going to start by just adding a little bit of oil to this pan, which has been warming up. And I'm using a sunflower oil. First thing I'm going to add to the oil are some chilies, and I'm using about half a teaspoon of the red pepper flake. You can use that to taste. Next go in the onions. Stir this up a bit. It's amazing, just such simple recipes, some simple ingredients, but it tastes really good. I'm going to let these saute for a moment until they become translucent. Next we're going to put in the garlic and the ginger. Mix these around a bit. And then to this aromatic base, we're going to add the brown pork. And now we're just going to break it up and stir it around and let it cook until it's no longer pink, until it goes that gray color. It should only take a few minutes. Just stir. Let it all cook through. And I'm using 12% fat mince, so there's not a lot of fat in here. I don't go as low as 5 because I find that it's not as tasty. But if you were watching fat, you could go for a leaner mince if you wanted to. I have my heat on high because I'm trying to get this to cook through quickly. And now that the pork is no longer pink, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 5 tablespoons of brown sugar and the 2 tablespoons of the fish sauce. Yes, the fish sauce really smells bad, but it tastes delicious in the recipe. And now I'm going to mix this all around and incorporate the sugar and the fish sauce. And the key to this dish actually is to allow the meat to caramelize. So first I'm going to stir it all in and make sure it's incorporated. Then I'm going to leave it alone and let it brown at the bottom and only stir it a couple more times. And that is the beauty of this dish. The sugar caramelizes, the fish sauce gives it that very distinct and unique flavor, and you just can't beat it. It's so yummy. So it's just been a few minutes. I'm just going to give it a stir. So what you want to do is let the liquid at the bottom sort of evaporate, and then it will really start to caramelize. So I'll leave it alone for a few more minutes. Okay, it's been cooking for a few minutes now, and all of the liquid now has evaporated, and it's starting to get to that caramelization that really makes this dish special. I'm only going to leave it for a few more minutes, but this is where you can decide how caramelized you like it. Give it a stir. Yes, it's definitely getting there. So now to bring it all together, I boiled some rice earlier. So we're just going to put a couple of spoonfuls of rice, and I've made quite a bit of rice for tonight, but also so I can save some and have some stir-fried rice tomorrow. Some of this lovely caramelized mince right on top like this. Now, when you're cooking it, you're gonna smell the fish sauce, and you may be a little put off because it does smell quite strong, but trust me, it really is delicious. A bit more, and then the final little bit of piece. A fried egg with a soft yolk at the top. Ooh, and a few pieces of cucumber on the side, and this gives a nice texture change because these are cold and crunchy, and I find they really go well with the meal. And there you go, Vietnamese pork. A simple, easy, and very, very delicious meal to have for any weeknight. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you stayed to the end, please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking that notification button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks again for watching.